Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Watkins Glen. We've been here 2 times in the past. Been pretty solid races those times around, so hopefully it's another good one today. Shame about the low attendance on the road and street courses so far this season, but hopefully with the 15 cars I think we have in the session, it should be a good race still. 36 lap race today. 75 minutes will be the time limit. Will be plenty, unlike last week or 2 weeks ago at Indy. So for the blue flags, we're doing the same rules as Fuji and, well, really in the past on road and street courses anyway. When the leaders come to lap a driver at any point in the race, they are required to move out of the way in a place that is convenient for the leaders. So not for you. It is your responsibility to let the leaders through safely and quickly. Any incidents caused by lap cars will be strongly penalized. And drivers should move over and out of the way on the first best way possible, which are the convenient places for the leaders, to not impede those. So, yep. Racing etiquette, a car's width must be left to the edge of the track. The white line is considered an edge when another car is significantly at least halfway alongside. The above applies in all instances, including the chicane, so you can't really force anybody off the track there. It would just be a penalty there. So just leave some space, have some respect on the track, should be fine. When you enter the pits,
Up in the Finger Lakes region of New York sits Watkins Glen International, a road course very historic for great racing from NASCAR to IMSA to IndyCar to Formula One back in the day. So many different series have come and raced and gone. And one thing that continues is every couple of seasons here in the Velocity Online Racing Indy Car Series, we come back to Watkins Glen and we always get a pretty fun show as my mouse is going nuts all of a sudden. It's weird. All right, we welcome you in. That's kind of weird. To Watkins Glen in the 40 Racewear Grand Prix at the Glen. It is race number 8 of the series. I'm sorry, race number 7 of the series. We got 3 races to go in the championship season, and we've got a lot of things in store as we get you ready to go here in just a few moments. But you see 3.36 mile track, 88 degrees, 90 degrees down on track. Should be a pretty fun race here for the 40 Racewear Grand Prix here at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. A lot of things to talk about. The biggest news of the week came out just earlier today, as a matter of fact, and something for us to share. Season number 8, which will be coming in January. The schedule released. Season 1 of 2023. Season 8 overall of VOR will start at Homestead Miami Speedway January the 14th. And one thing you will notice on the schedule is that a lot of the races are pretty tight together. I know we've had a lot of gaps and breaks in between races and things like that. But look at this. Homestead, and then right after that, Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway. Then we go to Circuit of the Americas after a week off. And then look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4 straight races, including the road course at Indianapolis. We'll get to debut finally on the updated circuit there at Indy. We got the Red Bull Ring on the schedule. That'll be a fun race. Of course, the 8th running of the Indy 500-kilometer race, the Milwaukee Mile on the schedule. How about that? A first visit to Talladega in the Indy cars. You've seen Daytona a couple times now. We're going to Talladega, then Pocono, the the streets of Long Beach. Say that 3 times fast. And we finish off with a 500-kilometer race at Auto Club Speedway. That should be a pretty fun one. So there's Season 8 schedule next season. But first, we got to get through this schedule. And, of course, tonight, round number 7, as I mentioned, from Watkins Glen. You got Nashville, Pocono, and I about did it again, the streets of Long Beach. Strong Beach, I guess we'll call it, right? That's the 3 races. So you'll notice already we go back to 12 races. Next season, we're at 10, of course. This season, round number 7. So there is that. Point standings as we enter tonight. AJ Musselman, after Indianapolis, a 1-point lead over Julian Altena. Jesper Oben, who's missed a couple races but is really fast here at the Glen. He is 3rd in points. Nick Sudik is 4th, and there's your Indy winner. 5th, Thomas Geisler, 35 points out. Still got a legit shot there. A lot of these drivers do. And you see the team championship, Indy Alliance is kind of running away on this one. How about Team Watson? They've had a great season there. Team Watson with Turn 4 Racing, only 162 points back. So some great things going on as we go to the Glen. Here is your information for the 4D Racewear Grand Prix. This is, of course, all asphalt track, 36 laps, 200 kilometers in this race, 40-mile-an-hour speed limit. We've been here 2 other times, and Alex Van de Sant won Season 2, and David Porcelli in Season 5. And as you see, it's a 3.45-mile road course. If you watched earlier, we did the All-American ARCA Series here on the Captain eSports Network. That series used the regular stock car circuit, which goes from turn 9 down to turn 14 on this map. But here we use the boot in the open wheel cars. So you'll see, obviously, from the chute, they'll go into the boot, the toe, the heel, and then out turn 13, which is going to be the trickiest corner on the track right there. It's a first gear left-hander that it's off camber and can cause a whole lot of issues. So that is what we got in store for you this afternoon here at the Watkins Glen International Raceway. Cars are on track. We have qualifying going on right now for 15 minutes, and let's throw up the grid here and see where everybody is as of right now. It is Jesper Omen, as I said, up there, up top, as kind of predicted. He's pretty quick, and he's been sporting some fast times here throughout practice. And let's jump down here on track, and here's Jesper right now. Let's ride around Watkins Glen International, and I can kind of talk you through a lap here. This is actually probably, when it comes to road courses, for me, the best road course I run at an open wheel car. This and Road America, so I can kind of talk to you. You see, this is that turn 13 area right here. Left hand off camber, and it carries you down towards turn 14, which is a left-hander into turn 15. And onto the front straightaway here, which takes you down to a 90-degree first corner. It's actually the slowest corner, actually one of the slowest, of course, with turn 13. Down to likely second gear here. Looks like Jesper's going to take a third gear. Up past the Mustang sampling, old start-finish line from way back in the day, through turn 2, up the S's, wide open here, all the way to the bus stop. Through the bus stop, and then around the carousel, and into the chute, this area right here. And this is the start of the boot section here. And this is the toe of the boot right here as they head towards the heel. Another blinding right-handed corner, up another straightaway. A lot of straightaways and a lot of slower corners here at Watkins Glen. Down to second gear, down to first gear. Look at this blinding corner right there. That's turn 13, as I talked about. You see him, he had to kind of go back to the right a little bit to get the wheel straight. Almost wide open through turn 14 into turn 15. That right there is a lap around Watkins Glen. You still got about 8 minutes or so left. Or 5 minutes or so left in qualifying right now. Let's see who else is out there on track right now that we can track around. How about Roland Roush right now? Second position here in the Williams-Renault throwback paint scheme. Checking out the lap times right now. I just actually added this up on the screen, so forgive me if it doesn't cooperate with me for the full minute here. You see Julian Altina right now on track. If it's in the yellow, it means he's running the same lap times potentially right now as his previous laps or slower. Green means good. Purple means you're on a pole lap potentially. or at least fastest in that sector. Let's see if I can make the adjustments while we go here. It's a good thing about SDK is you're able to make all these adjustments and add things and drop things as quick as I can. Usually I don't get a chance to cover qualifying, but fortunately today I have been able to. Let me see if I can work some magic here for a second. We're getting there. You get to watch me do live TV right here in front of you, boys. All I'm doing is putting in a number and sliding everything over. There you go. So now you get to see qualified. Look at Jesper running faster right now in his second sector. Let's jump up here to the 2 car. As he comes out of the turn 13 section back onto the regular part of the track. His pole lap's a 1:26.3. He just ran that last time by, so he's just going faster and faster every lap here. Goes through the final section back onto... Oh, and he wrecks it. Oh, boy. Backup car. That's going to leave a mark. Well, Jesper obviously going to need a couple of good races here in the next couple weeks to get himself back into the running for the championship. Who else is out there on track? Hey, let's go check in with our Indy 500 winner here, Thomas Geisler. Pretty sure for him it was the happiest 2 weeks here off for him. Looking to maybe carry that momentum after a second career win 2 weeks ago in what was easily the best Indy 500 we've had here in VOR since the inception of the league. It was fantastic. Geisler's 7th right now, 127.4. Got to be riding that wave of momentum potentially here this afternoon. See who else is out here on track. Roland Roush is out there. Dan Morera. Here's Dan crossing the line right now. Dan jumps up to 8th, a 27.6 on his lap. Roland Roush is going to slow up. Didn't like that lap one bit. How about Matthias Strauss in the Marcus Ericsson number 8 car? See what he's got here. The Husky chocolate car. Matthias up to 5th with a 27.2, so you're looking at middle part of the field. A lot of close lap times there in the 27s. And obviously, tire fall-off is going to be very important. You're also going to have a situation where you got to switch tires. Obviously, whatever tires you're going to start on, you got to switch to the other tires at one point. 80% fuel in this race, so you're going to see at least 2 stops to get to the finish. So I think you're going to see different strategies. Of course, that's one of the new features in the series this season was the shortening of the fuel. And qualifying is over, and it looks like everybody's off the track from what I'm seeing here. I think we're going to have Jesper Omen on the pole. For the 4D Racewear Grand Prix. If you don't get a chance to, maybe you should do so right now. You can check out 4dracewear.com. It's their website. And I actually have a pair of shoes myself from 4D Racewear. Jim Herrick, who is a league member here. And the founder of 4D Racewear. It's something he's been working on for a while, and it's a chance if you're a sim racer, you can go buy shoes, you can buy, let's see, gloves, and so many different things. As he does a great job, he's a entrepreneur trying to do good things for iRacers and for sim racing, and he's one that's been doing it for a very long time now. But you can shop shoes and gloves and teamwear and so much more. You can just see the website and stuff right here. I'm looking at it right now as we speak, and so many different partners that are a part of the league, including league members here from Raceverse and stuff like that. So make sure you check this out, where you can shop different things for 4D racing. I got, like I said, a pair of shoes myself, and I can go ahead and say right now, when I put them on, I feel like I am literally wearing just maybe a slightly heavier sock. That's what it feels like to me. And it's very comfortable. I race with them all the time, and as a matter of fact, tonight I'll be running a Super Speedway series, and I'll have those shoes on as I'm racing with them. So it's a pretty cool deal. Check out 4dracewear.com, the sponsor of tonight's 4D Racewear Grand Prix. And let's take a look at the starting lineup as the cars will grid over on the front straightaway, and that's also going to play a pretty good role in how this race could get started. Jesper Oman on the pole. Julian Alton at last minute jumps to P2. Congratulations to him. He'll start second. Roland Roush, he'll start next to Sebastian Kinder there in row number 2. Row 3, Matthias Strauss and Josh Tucker. Good qualifying effort for that Team Watson Racing. Let's go. They're in 6th position. Thomas Geisler, Indy 500 winner, starting 7th alongside Dan Morera. Luke Daniels, who was hoping to be at the Petit Le Mans right down the road from me today, he'll start 9th alongside Patrick Kraus. As you see, he's at the race here, which, by the way, could be where some people are this afternoon, with some missing drivers in the field. Nick Sudik and Diego Pereno starting in row 6. Row 7, Fran Herrera, Sven Von Cannell. Row number 8, looks like will be Craig Forsyth, as we still got some cars yet to grid here. As we look at your front couple of cars, good look there at that Williams Renault throwback paint scheme of Roland Roush. So it looks like 14 of the 15 cars will grid. Craig Forsyth being the only one who does not, unfortunately. And did we lose Patrick Kraus all of a sudden? Well, we might be down to 13 starters now. Yeah, Kraus is going to start on pit road. You see the red car up there in the top corner. So for those who are just joining us on the channel, let's take a look at the information again for the race. Here it is. 15 turns, 3.45 mile course, which includes the boot, 36 laps, 200 kilometers. Speed limit is 40 miles an hour. They do got to run both sets of tires in today's race. So we got a set of red primaries, which are alternate tires, more grip, fall off more. And then, of course, you got the primary black tires that will not fall off as much, but do take longer to get going. They're a harder sidewall, if you will. So there's your track information as they head up to the bus stop for the first time. As Casey Carrington joining us, he was part of that ARCA race earlier that you saw here on the Captain eSports Network. Very important thing is making sure that, yes, the ARCA rubber, which is General Tires, end up off the track, which, of course, we got the Firestone tires here in the Indy Car Series. As they work their way into the boot section here. A lot of people, especially on the stock car side, want to see this portion of the track actually be a part of the NASCAR series. There is a lot of elements that have to happen for this to happen. Like, for instance, where are you going to put all the safety trucks or the campers or whoever else parks over here in this area? It's a pretty wide section that you have to put somewhere else. So there's so many different, like, demographics and things like that you have to look into. So they go through the heel and head up towards what I guess you would call the calf, technically, because if you go through the chute over there, which is the ankle, you go down into the toe and then the boot, and then the back side of your leg is the calf. So I guess that would be this corner. Back onto the turn 13. That's the trickiest corner on the track here. It's almost a drinking game right there, seeing how many cars spin in that corner. Turn 14, a left-hander here to turn 15. Gary Godso, pace car driver, I guess. I have to come up with somebody. As they will come through turn number 4 and see the green flag be put in the air for 36 laps and 200 kilometers of racing here from the Glen. Round number 7 underway. Down into turn 1, looks like everybody clean. Mouth wide open all the way up to turn 2 and 3, up through the S's. Turn 4. And all the way to the bus stop. Cameras tonight presented by TrackCams22.com. You can check them out online on Facebook. They're in the iRacing forums. Their website, TrackCams22.com. Home and through the bus stop. Rolling Roush. Everybody good. Clean start. And Patrick Krause did get on track, so he started from the pits. That could be a pit strategy on his part. Again, this is a 2-stop race. At least. Everybody pretty much spreading themselves out. Biggest mover already is back here, Sven Von Kanel. The 11th position from the 14th starting spot. Through the turn 13 section here. Back onto the, I guess you call it the main circuit, but it's all part of the same racetrack. It's all the main circuit, basically. And one car almost catching the wall there out of 15 as we complete lap 1. As you see down there in the 15th position, Craig Forsyth did not start the race, unfortunately. Hopefully he's doing well. But as I mentioned, a lot of drivers probably out at the Petit Le Mans today. As battle for second, Roland Roush to the inside. Almost thought about taking the spot from Julian. But the Petit Le Mans going on right down the road for me, about 10 minutes or so at the Road Atlanta racetrack. And I think some of the drivers are probably out there at that race's crossover move. Geisler looking inside. As they get into the boot section of the track, he tried to get around Strauss there for position. Right on board with Geisler. They do got push to pass. You get 10 pushes. And those pushes are 20 seconds apiece or until you let off the throttle. This is one of the tracks where you can actually use the push to pass for a whole entire stint, if you will. All the way from turn 1 up to the bus stop is about a complete 20 seconds. Oh, there's so many arguments back and forth there, Casey, on that. I'm okay with either or. I think it'd be cool to see once, just to see if people would like it or not. As you see the pass happen, almost happen. Wow! Strauss not giving it up. Push to pass on. Well, it was on. He let off the gas. He just lost the push to pass, unfortunately, because of that. He should have the draft out. Let's see if he makes the move into turn into the bus stop here. Sends it and cleared him. Good racing between the two. Geisler already out to a 2.3 second lead over Julian. Remember, the last time we were on a road course in this series was Fuji, and it was a very unknown course to a lot of drivers. Didn't have the biggest field, but here we go to a track that's really known to a lot of drivers. I mean, if you're one who races in a series like Indy cars or stock cars or something like that, or even IMSA, you more than likely have run plenty of laps around this track. So it's one that everyone knows and knows what to expect. On the front straightaway already, 3 laps complete in this race. Sebastian Kinder here, 4th position, about 6 seconds back from the lead. Kind of out on his own island right now. Geisler's been able to get away from Strauss, so we'll have to watch the lap times of this 16 car right here, riding that momentum from the Indy 500 win 2 weeks ago. Looking to carry it through this series and through this race. One of 2 road courses left on the schedule, of course, this week, and then the final race of the season at Long Beach. In between that, we go to Pocono for a 500-kilometer race. And you wonder if Strauss is just struggling a little bit. But you know what? Here's what I'm noticing. Look at the tires on Strauss. Running the primes. You see Geisler on the alternate tires. One thing I will say is, from my times of running at this track, the alternate tires and primes do have a pretty good separation at this track. I remember in particular the last time I ran here, as Strauss blinks out a little bit, I actually started on the primes and fell back about 3 or 4 spots, but before the end of my stint and came in for tires, I was actually one of the faster cars on the track because everybody was falling off on the reds. So don't be surprised you see that here. I know a stint's about 14 or 15 laps, so I'm expecting about 12 laps or so on a tank of fuel, if not 13. But the 4 of the top 5 right now on the alternate red tires. The rest of the field all the way down to Von Cannell there in 11th and Patrick Kraus on alternate tires. So only 5 on alternates. The rest of the field on the primes. We look here, Josh Tucker looking to make a move maybe on Sudik there in the 87 car, not able to do so. Diego Perena was on push to pass, 1 car sideways, Von Cannell. That 24 saves it. And he's just going to have to get himself back into rhythm. Unfortunately, going to lose a lot of time. And I'm guessing he probably caught a curve wrong. Goes into the bus stop here. He's side by side. Yeah, he hops that curve there and it bottoms out and spins the car out. Very tough to go side by side through that section. As Kraus on pit road, maybe doing a start and park, potentially. There's your leader already out to a 4.2 second lead as Omen, who won the first 2 races of the season, going to get number 3 before it's all said and done. As you see Luke Daniels, the Texas driver there, 28th position. Fires out, sends it down, push to pass was activated, makes the pass to 6 for the 98 car. So Strauss definitely struggling on the prime tires. Josh Tucker back here trying to catch Sudik as Sudik pokes out on Kraus. Maybe he's going to get a... Was kind of hesitant there at first and decided to finally launch it in there. And now side by side into turn 13. Very tough corner here. easily can spin the tires and spin the car around. This will tell you right here how lap times are. 6 laps in, and we've already got cars falling off 2 seconds off the pace right now. So you tell me tires are not important in Watkins Glen. They are very important here. They do fall off a pretty good amount. Leader last time at 29.57. Julian Alton at 29.87. 84 for Roush. Obviously, you want to run this stint out as far as you can go. But then you want to try to get those fresh tires as quick as you can, especially if you want to try and undercut. Oh, and Jesper! Big issues, and Julian runs into him! The leaders! Jesper Ullman and Julian Alton have wrecked over in the toe of the boot. And Julian Alton got into him. What? Something happened. And Julian, nowhere to go, stop, just crushes him. Something had to have happened to a screen or something. That is weird. Yeah, see, he locks the brakes up. That tells me a screen, something went off his screen. And then Julian had no clue and clobbers him. And heavy left front damage. He's going to be not happy about that. Before I can put the blame on anybody, I'm just kind of curious to see if that's exactly what it was. Was it some kind of a black screen issue or something that happened to Jesper that caused that? But that pushes the lead now to Roland Roush in the 18 car. Sebastian Kinder second. Thomas Geisler third. And here we go. The Indy momentum carrying up to the top 3. Now you went from a potential runaway race for one car to now having 7 cars within 4 seconds of each other here. That just really changed the strategy, I think, for a lot of these cars. Because now they're realizing, hey, I've got a shot to win this thing. You know, before they might have been like, all right, Julian or Jesper might win this, but you know, as you see, that's why you run the race. You never know what can take place. Even something if it's a hardware failure or something like that. Unfortunate for Jesper, but you know, unfortunately, these things happen. As we complete a quarter distance right now. Now you got the top 2 cars with 0 career wins in this series up front. Yeah, Julian, there's nothing you can do about that. Did he have his screen go black or something? That's what it looks like. Kinder, good run there off 13 here. Let's see if we can get to him at the left-hander here. Pretty much a wide open corner right here. Roush got a little wide. His VR died. There you go. That hardware failure will do it. Is Kinder going to send it? Nope, holds back this time. maybe, see, this is where, okay. I'm not going to rant about it because it's just an opinion of mine. and look at this! To the outside goes Kinder. Got the run on Roush. And takes it. Prime tires to the front in the later part of the run as predicted. Now, this is where it goes back to the whole... I'm not against VR at all. Like, VR, great thing. A great tool to have and that kind of thing. I just don't know if putting on a contraption, I guess for a lack of a better word, on your face to run on a simulator like this is the right thing. And when I say that, like, because I don't race with VR. I race straight up with my screens and everything like that. If something, you know what, Roush is having issues. I wonder if his tires are falling off now. He's on those alternate red sidewall tires. Thomas Geisler also on the alt, so you wonder if he maybe saved his tires a little bit more than Roush did. But the Primes are ready to pounce behind him. Now, of course, counterpoint to this will be the Primes will be on the cars that will be coming to pit road likely next stint, so they'll have the advantage. But going back to the VR thing, when you're in a race like this, it's like so many things, it seems to me, can happen with VR on, and you have no control and no way to... I guess there's so many factors of things that can happen to them. Where you're in a race, yeah, a monitor can go out or something stupid like that. You can't control that. But when your VR set goes out, you lose everything. And unfortunately, in that situation, you just... your car stopped. Look at this move on Geisler. Sudik to the inside. Oh, the racing's getting intense now, boys. They all seen the light open up at the end of the tunnel, and they're all racing. The Prime tires are starting to scoot their way through here. Oh, and contact, it looked like. And Sudik's in the wall. Gotta go back to that replay, see what happened there. Crossover move. Geisler got in there deep. And Sudik's not happy. So Sebastian Kinder the lead, and Geisler now 6 seconds back. This race just really opened up for the 58. Basically, where I'm going with all this is I'm just not a fan of VR on this. And I guess you could say the argument at the same time is, you know, why then VR on other type of simulators or things like that. I just see it way too many times with issues of it on here. And if we could find, if there is somebody, a company out there that could make like a VR set that was like a pair of glasses that you can easily take off and fix real quick and not have any issues, where this, we have a contraption on our head, that might change my opinion. But yeah, that's just how I feel. You'll never see me wearing a pair of VR glasses running this series or in iRacing. But I am totally not against virtual reality. I think it's really cool. All right, so after the argy-bargy back there, you wonder how much damage Geisler has now after Sudik made the pass for second, and obviously the issue, and now Geisler's going to pit road. There's a lot of people not happy with him. Strauss going to second. I wonder, did he not call his pit stop? But we do got cars on pit road. Geisler, Roush, Herrera. A lot of drivers not happy. And Roush comes up short of his pit stall or something there. And it looks like Luke Daniels is out of the race or something too. Was he, Luke, what happened to you? There's things happening everywhere. I see Luke over here messaging me now. It's like, wait a minute. Did something happen? Were you involved in that wreck? Let's go back to it here. I want to go back to the Sudik wreck and see. I see where you came off the track here. That's already happened. Back a little more. All right, yeah, there's Luke right there in the 28 car. There's the contact. Oh, he gets hip checked right there. Then he go to turn 13. Still okay here. Oh, big checkup. Whoa. What in the world? What? He's trying to get around Roush, and something happened to Geisler's car or something. I don't want to like assume something here, but Geisler all of a sudden slows up, gets ran into by Roush, who literally gets pile driven by Luke. This race has just got really interesting as Matthias Strauss stays out here, and Matthias, let's see, if we're looking here, 36 laps. He's not going to be able to do this in one stop. He's going to be pitting here any minute. I will say it's the first time I've ever seen Luke Daniels involved in a checkup that wasn't a restart. As here comes Strauss to pit road. So this will hand the lead back to Sebastian Kinder, who will have a pretty sizable lead. Looks like about 10 seconds or so on Geisler. There goes Sebastian going by right now. And then there's Geisler, and then look at the third place car, Josh Tucker. The Let's Race verse car, also with Team Watson. Sunset Arctic Games on the back tail of the spoiler. Listen to me here. The wing of the car. Yeah, I'm not sure either. Luke did. I wonder if he had an issue with maybe a similar issue to what Jesper had. Maybe something VR wise or something screen wise or something. I mean, that's why I don't want to assume or anything. But yeah, he just slowed up. Right. Issues everywhere. All right, so after the pit stop now, we only have let me back up. One car left on track without prime tires, and that is the Diego Pereno car. It's running in the 7th position right now. There's your one person on the alternate red Firestone tires. Everybody else running primes now. With 22 laps to go, everybody should be good to go on one more stop. There's your leader, Kinder. Geisler, Tucker, and Fran Herrera up to the 4th position. Maybe a career best run for that 85 car. Dan Herrera up to 5th. Roland Roush still out there. You wonder how much gearbox damage he had from getting absolutely pile driven by the 98. 28 in this series. I'm used to the 90. It is the 98. Never mind. So I'm guessing Julian must be done for the day. Jesper, I could definitely guess, is probably done for the day. Sudik, unfortunately, behind the wall. Luke Daniels behind the wall. Patrick Krause is out there just literally tiptoeing laps. And he's up to the 10th position here. Craig Forsyth's around. He could jump in this race and probably get a top 10. Or at least a top 11. With 20 laps to go in this 40 Racewear Grand Prix at Watkins Glen. As Morera starts to look up at the lap car here, as he's got Strauss right there behind him. Laps to go. You see the sun starting to kind of bring its way down. Never had a chance to come up here to upstate New York. I suggest you do. It's somewhere I've got a chance to live for about 3 years or so. If you're a big fan of wine, there's so many vineyards and places up here. You know, there's plenty of state parks. Letchworth one, for example, that my wife and I got to enjoy one time. Actually, it was the day after our wedding. We went over there to enjoy the park. A lot of rock climbing and stuff because you got mountains up in this area. Of course, Rochester right there with Syracuse and Buffalo all in that area. That's almost like and even Albany within 4 hours, all right there on the thruway. Unfortunately, you better bring some money for the thruway. I mean, so many cool things to do up in this area. Of course, you got the Syracuse Mall, which is one of the biggest malls in all of America. I would say go to the Syracuse Mile, but that thing don't exist anymore, unfortunately. And Nick, I can totally understand. For those who are watching and not a part of the league exactly, yes, there is a system that is in place for protests and stuff like that. So when drivers are unhappy or if something happens to them that they get involved in a wreck, they can actually send a protest into the admins and stuff, and they'll get together and they actually have a tier system that involves points, involves EOLs, and even involves, as you saw back at Phoenix, race number 3, I believe it was, the finishing order of a race. We had the winner of the race actually not end up being the winner because of a penalty, because of the contact there at the end of that race. So plenty of things can happen here. And I should mention we do have a new second place car. Looky here, Josh Tucker. The 77 car, 9.3 seconds back now. So Geisler must have some damage on that car. But that 77 looking pretty good. Maybe a first career win. As a matter of fact, as I look, one, two, three. As a matter of fact, out of all the cars running right now, I'm going to have to look at the numbers to just make sure this is correct. We only have one winner in the rest of this field that's left in this race, and that's obviously Geisler. You know, one of the cool things I've been doing to help out Julian is if you go into the Dan Lisa, I'm used to calling it, but SimRacer Hub page, you can actually go all the way back down to Season 3. I'm working on getting the other 2 seasons up there. All the way back to Season 3 of the history of this series and see all the stats and all the things that have happened in this series. And as I look at it right now, I'm looking to these names. The Geisler got his second career win last week. And I do not see another name in this race right now with a win. So yeah, literally one driver left in this race that is a career win, and that person runs third. So there is likely, as Kraus is 5 laps down, so whatever. Where's Luke Daniels? I need your math for a second. Luke's a pretty, well, he acts smart at least. I don't know if he is or not. I'll let him decide that one. Pretty smart feller that can do some math. What is like 9 drivers, career win? Let's see, one has a win to 8. So what would that percentage be? 8 drivers going for the first career win? I would say that's like a, what, 80-something% chance? 90-something? With 17 laps to go. There's Dan Morera's getting the hold off here. Pereno. For Diego, he's going to need to try to make this pass, I think, as quick as possible, because if he doesn't, those tires are going to go bye-bye real quickly here. And he's got about 14 seconds back to Roush. Morera doing a good job of protecting that position, and not only that, starting to catch up to the 8 car of Strauss. So Matthias has not had the best of cars, and of course he is running on the primes again, so he'll probably switch over. He'll have to switch over to the alternate tires. A few of these drivers will for this next stint to end this race. So I assume they're gonna, those who are, there you go, 88.888888888. Keep going, percent. Now the pop quiz question for Luke is, did he do that without a calculator? Because by you saying repeating at the end, that's pretty much telling me you used a calculator. By the way, Luke, I was at the airport waiting on you last night. So 8.8 seconds, Kinder to Tucker. So Tucker has actually gained a little bit of time. The last couple laps, he's about 2 tenths faster, Josh was, that last lap than Kinder. So there's a chance. I mean, Josh could, if he keeps running good laps here, maybe Kinder makes a mistake on a pit stop or something like that, we could have a battle potentially. Geisler about 13 seconds back right now. Well, Casey, I'm going to let you just keep repeating the 8s. So I shared this story a little bit at the other broadcast I did here at Watkins Glen for the ARCA series. But, of course, the history of this track, built back in the 1960s, hosted the U.S. Grand Prix, hosted IMSA, hosted NASCAR, of course, IndyCar. And it's one of those tracks that was built, it was actually built on the story, unfortunately, of... Yeah, because you're at the track right now in the middle of the race. You're not even there. You know how I know? Because the reception in that area of the racetrack absolutely is terrible. I know that because I've tried to make phone calls sitting over at Lanier across the street from the track. Anyways. So, back to my story. The track built back in the 60s, and the reason why it was built is before Watkins Glen used to be a course that they raced into the city of Watkins Glen, including a jump actually at a railroad track. And unfortunately, there was a young child at the one of the races that was struck by a car and killed. And that's when the body, sanctioning body, came out with a rule that you cannot run. I don't know if it was in the state of New York or in America or even in the world, but they said basically no more racing on open circuits like that. So Watkins Glen was built, and here we are. Which this is not the original layout, by the way, of Watkins Glen. They actually used to have a really long front straightaway that basically ran up towards where the bus stop is. And if I can get the right view, I always have this challenge, I will show you the old start-finish line, which is actually behind this camera right here. you go on Wikipedia, you can actually see the old layout of the track. Well, it didn't have Wi-Fi that day. Which, by the way, I'm going to have to bring this up on a podcast I'm on tomorrow night. But who in their right mind would host... And I know who's the fault at this, so it's not really the IMSA series or anything like that. But who in their right mind would host a NASCAR race about 100 miles from one of the biggest road races of them all in America? Just saying. So Tucker, once again, a 53 to an 86 that time by, so he is gaining ever so slightly down to 8.1 seconds. At this pace, Josh will catch Sebastian sometime before the season 10 running of this race. But obviously that could change with pit stops. There's Fran Herrera down to 5, pushed past. He's trying to get up there to the back of Thomas Geisler. Last time by for him, he was a little bit faster. As once again, lap times have fallen off by about a second or so. Fastest lap of the race. From my telemetry here, I'm seeing it's a 27.7 from Jesper Oman, but then nobody else was in the 28s outside of Julian. Out of those running right now, the best lap is a 28.93 by Roland Roush, but he's got damage and sits in 8th. Well, there's like a whole lot of factors. Apparently, he did not want to be fast in this race. That's Matthias Strauss right there behind the 85 car, so we could have a battle for the 4th position starting to heat up here. Thomas Geisler to pit road. Here's the first one in. Gonna bring Herrera with him. First one to pit last. This will get everybody to the finish. Of course, they'll flip tires if they haven't already. I assume if 12 laps, you're probably going to the primes at this point. Now he's going to stay on the alternates here and primes for Herrera. No, I don't think... No, I'm not really talking about a crossover part because, I mean, out of the people I know here that like racing, a lot of them go just to get drunk or just have a good time or whatever, which is kind of the same for Talladega, but a race fan's a race fan. I mean, yeah, you could, I'm pretty sure if you went down there to the race right now and you asked, you know, if you asked every person, hey, do you have a ticket to Talladega tomorrow? There's likely somebody, if not multiple people at that race today that's like, yeah, as soon as we get done with this race tonight, we're driving over to Talladega. I mean, where the racetrack is, I mean, it's right here between 985 and 85 in Georgia. All you gotta do is drive right down to 85, take 85 down to Atlanta, jump on 20, and go west, and bada bing, there's Talladega right there on the left. About a 100-mile trip, literally. So Kinder, as you see, has kind of balanced out that separation between he and Tucker, 8.6 seconds now. And then you got Strauss about 20 seconds back with Dan Morera as we got cars on pit road again. Roush on pit road and Cannell. Julian, you're missing a nose on your car. Just FYI. As Roush pulls away, he's got alternate reds on. So when does the leader come to pit road? How about right now? And we'll have to look into that. I think it's a good call, Nick. I did notice he was late committing in when he hung a right there. I guess I just kind of overlooked that rule is in play there. Totally didn't even think about that. Yeah, that'll probably be looked at there by the admins after the race. As Kinder's tire and fuel, he pulls away, and right behind him there's Tucker. Morera on pit road. Nick, let me ask this question. Is a grilled cheese double stuffed steak burrito in the near future for that 87 car after today? By the way, it's delicious. All right, so both of the leaders executed perfect pit stops there. Looks like about the same separation. Now it's a matter of who's on what tires right now. And as I see it, both of them are on the alternate tires. So who can preserve the best here for this last part of the race? I'm sure that sun going up the hill there is... Okay then. Somebody check on Sudik in about an hour. Yeah, you've unfortunately not had the luck you've had the last couple seasons, my man. Shake it off, buddy. I know it's frustrating. I'm with you. I prefer, of course, captain. I'm just saying. I mean, kind of goes with the name, you know. So Strauss is on pit road. Here, I'll share a little story here, not to make it about me here for a second. I run a series on Tuesday and Saturday nights. And about 3 months ago, I think it was during the last season. It's an 8-race season on Tuesday nights. And about, I don't know, 2 or 3 months ago, on lap 1, I remember running, I think I had 4 or 5 straight top 10 finishes or something, and I had missed the first race, and I went all the way up to 6th in points. And had a legit shot of maybe catching the leader. And we go to Nashville, lap 1, guy gets stuck in the fence, ARCA car, and he turns off the fence and hooks me, and I go straight Dale, or Cody Ware, I guess anymore, into the turn 3 wall. From that point until this past Tuesday night, I went into 2 leagues and had 0 top 10 finishes. Until actually it was Saturday of last week, I got a top 10 and a top 5 Tuesday night. So I know exactly how you feel. There's a lot of anger in between all that. So the top 5, all alternate tires, 6th through 8th. Those guys are on the primes, and of course they're probably a little too far back to go for the win, but there is a chance those guys on primes like Diego Pereno, Roland Roush, Sven Von Cannell, depending on how damaged those cars are, could potentially catch Strauss or Morera on the alternates and make a battle of this up here for the top 5. There's Strauss right now. He's 22 seconds back from the leader, but as you see, outside of him blinking, is about 3.5 seconds ahead of Morera, who's got about 3 seconds to this car, the first on the primes. Pereno, who's on push to pass right now, down the straightaway here. So Kinder with a 10-second lead now. as we come to 8 laps to go. Of course, the next race after tonight, I actually jumped over a race. I talked about Pocono and Long Beach. Next race is actually Nashville Super Speedway, which is going to be a mix of it's going to be a straight-up oval, but a mix of Super Speedway meets short oval type of race, 1.33 mile track, a lot of speed on the straightaways, and obviously downshifting into the corners and very tight racing there. We'll see that race that'll be coming up. As a matter of fact, let me pull up the schedule again for those who haven't seen it. There's the rest of the schedule coming up. Watkins Glen, or Nashville, actually next week. So we do not get a break next week. We get Nashville, and then we do get another week off there on the 15th, and then come back Pocono, and then after another week off, we come back in November to the streets of Long Beach, or as I've been saying earlier, Strong Beach. I don't know why. All right, so Sven has caught Roland Roush here. This is going to be a battle for the 7th position with 7 laps to go. Roush must have suffered a little bit heavier damage on that ramping hit by Luke Daniels. That's probably cost him a little bit of speed, maybe. Oh, Roush got a little loose. There's turn 13 for you. Very easy to do there. Outside this battle, most of the other cars are about 3 or more seconds separation. A lot of push to pass being used as others try to gain on others. I will say the car with the fastest lap last time by was actually Matthias Strauss in the 4th position, so he's obviously showing that he's a lot stronger on those alternate red tires than he is the primes. 6 laps to go. More than likely going to see that first-time winner, as I said, in the series. Still working on, as I mentioned, the stats of the first 2 seasons. Hopefully I'll have that finished within the next month or so. It's just whenever I get a time on a Saturday or Sunday and I'm sitting here without something going on, I'll get to work on it or whatever, but that'd be really cool. I'm like, I guess, kind of a nerd to say about this. Like, I've always, one of the biggest things, like when I broadcast for companies and or for leagues or whatever, people are like, hey, what's one thing you want? I was like, stats. I love stats because it's my way of kind of prepping for a broadcast or whatever, because I don't want to just sit here and call a race like I don't know these people. I try to call a race and have knowledge of all the drivers, of who they are, or how many starts they've made, or how many wins they have, or even what country they're from, or whatever. So that, you know, it shows knowledge and shows almost like another way of saying you care. So we watch Roush protecting the inside line. Like, I'm not just here to call a race, collect money, and walk away. I'm here to, you know, because these are people that are devoting a couple hours of their time a week to race in this league that Julian's put together. And yeah, I've had the honor of helping him out a lot more this season than usual. But it's like, I want to know all the drivers that I broadcast for. I want to know who they are and what kind of people they are, and you know, how long they've been around. I mean, hell, to have somebody in the Sim 500 series that I do on Monday nights have 1,000 career league starts in that series. I mean, that is... I don't even know if series... There's probably series out there that have had every driver you could put together in career starts not even hit 1,000. So it's... like, those kind of things are cool to me. I like to be able to sit here in a series that's about to be 8 seasons old next season and sit back and say, hey, they've had this many winners, this many people have won poles, this person's got the most career wins, outstanding, you know, poles and things like that. You know, it's... I think that's kind of cool. I know it's kind of nerdy, I guess, like of me, but it's just who I am. Nostalgia. I like it. So let's check on Kinder. There he is, that Team Watson Racing Setups car. 9.5 seconds away from win number 1. Sebastian's been around for a couple seasons. And I know this number's correct because I don't think he was here at the beginning of the series. So I believe this is his 24th career start. And obviously would be his 5th top 5 and his 15th top 10. And before this race today, led all of 4 laps. And he's about to go in here and probably lead, what, 25 laps at least of this race? I'm sure if James Watson was watching, or any of his teammates from the team, if they're watching right now, you know they're probably getting excited knowing that potentially here in about 7 miles or so, he's going to be going to victory lane for the first time. Josh Tucker likely going to get his first podium, it looks like. And Strauss is faster than Geisler, so we could have a battle for 3rd before this thing's over with. We'll have to watch it closely. As Kinder just passed the line, 2 laps to go. But there, right there, is your 3rd place battle potentially here. Your Indy champion versus Matthias Strauss, who was one of the free fallers throughout this race, but then put the alternate red sidewall on the car, or came to life. Push to pass activated, should be able to take it all the way to the bus stop. Gained a pretty good amount right there into the bus stop, coming out of the carousel, down the chute to the boot itself here. Down to 1.3. Oh, you bet there, bud. Be safe. I'll keep an eye on that, but here comes Sebastian Kinder off turn 15. And he's got 3.45 miles to go as the white flag is out. Final lap here from the Glen. .9 seconds on Josh Tucker. Should say that Roush has held off Sven for the 7th position so far. Also in that battle, it's been going on back there. Does have 1 lap car coming up. I'm sure he will not be an issue at all. toe of the boot as he heads toward the heel. Lap car will likely yield to the right, I would think here. You hope. Then again, Sebastian might be just, you know what, just keep going. I'm going to hang right here behind you. Strauss has got it down to 7/10 of a second, by the way. We'll go back to that battle here in a second, but first, we welcome a new winner to VOR. Sebastian Kinder wins the 40 Racewear Grand Prix at the Glen. His first career win as we watch the battle for third. As Matthias going to fall up just short. Geisler will get third, Strauss fourth. And Moreira about caught Diego here for fifth. And I should mention that Pereno move was actually a pass for position. Let's go back to this here. This was actually a battle for position that just happened. Right there, Moreira gives it to him as he just drove it deeper into the heel of the boot there, made the pass and took the position away. So great job by Pereno. I talked about those primes at the end, catching back up to those alternate tires, and that's exactly what we saw. As Kinder on his celebratory lap. Now all of a sudden it looks like a lap at... Whoa! Trouble back there! Contact with cars! What in the world was that? Looks like a lap at Le Mans all of a sudden here. As we show the results from the race. 7.1 second lead win for Kinder over Tucker. Thomas Geisler third, Strauss fourth, and Pereno fifth. Dan Moreira finishes sixth, Roland Roush seventh, Sven von Cannell eighth. Fran Herrera, Patrick Kraus finishes 10th. And the rest of the cars had off-track issues. Luke Daniels, Nick Sudik, Julian Alton, Jasper Oman, and Craig Forsyth, unfortunately not starting the event. And as Nick said right there in stream, it is a Team Watson Racing 1-2. And I believe that would be the first time in that team's career that they've had that here, at least in VOR. I hate when that happens. Sitting there all alone. He just wanted to join the party. That's funny. Just waiting for the cars. We'll let them all park, and we'll talk to the drivers here after a wild race in the end. That saw a VR set go bad and taking the 2 leaders out, and then just a couple laps later, a passing in contact into a corner, taking out a couple more leaders. And it opened up the race up to a lot of drivers who had never seen wins in this series. And somebody needs to show Sebastian how to do a burnout. Just whip the thing. There you go. Let's talk to, let's see if anybody's come in here yet to chat. Josh is here, so let's get, we'll talk to Josh here while he's with us here, man. Josh, great job tonight. Great second place finish. Obviously, some interesting racing there mid part of the race, but turned into a battle of looking to be first-time winners when it was all over. What was the difference there? Was it that just the contact and different things that happened that separated you guys from Sebastian? That was the difference in the race, or were there other things you could have done, or is there something that he was just better at?
Not sure, actually. I'd have to go back and look at the replay. We prepped as a team. So, we all knew what strategy each driver preferred. There wasn't going to be any surprises there. We were
Right.
pretty much running the same bar, same brake biases. He just, he showed up today and I didn't. And, kudos for him. He spent a lot of time in Super Speedway series backing me up in my championship run. And I honestly couldn't be happier for him. I'm not much of a road course guy, so to be on a podium, I didn't think I'd ever talk to you after a road course race. So I'm over the moon for where I got.
Well, talk about the hard work of the team. I know Nick mentioned in chat there it's a team 1-2 for Team Watson Racing, so that's got to be something. I know you guys are technically two different teams with the way the rules are set up, but still Team Watson Racing to get a 1-2 finish. That's got to be something that you guys got to be super excited about.
Yeah, I mean, it really should have been a 1-2-3.
Right.
Nick had a crazy amount of pace, so we should really just swept it. But it's been about a 9-month process, just absolutely tearing this car apart. I think I've gone through about 2 to 3 terabytes worth of data. Thousands upon thousands of laps to get through all of the driver adjustments and what you can control in the car outside of the setup. And more of these guys are getting involved with TWR and coming to the table and getting in that mix, and you get so many more heads bouncing ideas. It just makes it that much better for each individual driver. And we're coming pretty quick up the leaderboards, so should see us on the podium more for sure.
Well, one thing also too, and I know this is a fixed setup league, but obviously one thing that's been out for the last few months now is the Team Watson setups that you guys have been doing. Has that allowed, and this is outside the race and everything, but has that allowed you to kind of open up your horizon yourself and go into open setup forums and go racing out that way too and learning?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's, once you learn the basics of how to drive these cars and you get a good understanding of it, what you can control in the cockpit, having a great engineer, send you an amazing setup. It's a whole nother level. It's just as important as knowing what to do in the cockpit. And I'm definitely looking forward to it. I was going to try to run the Indy Open this year. I didn't get to. I ran the fixed, got 7th. So I'm looking forward to definitely getting to more of these open IndyCar races and see what I can do with the big boys.
Yeah, you might see me come chasing you one day, but right now we'll just worry about today. But man, great job, congratulations, career best finish for you in this series, and shout out to whoever like to.
Oh yeah, it's Sebastian for always being the goat of teammates. Glad he got the win. Sudik, Nicholas, he's always in TWR and Indy testing, helping us out. Watson for putting up with all of us crazy people, and my driving instructor Christopher Hill at PRI.
Absolutely, great job tonight, man. Congratulations on a second place run. Carry that momentum, and we'll see you next week in Nashville.
Thanks, man.
All right, you too, buddy. Josh, of course, with a great run. Josh Tucker there in the second position. I see our winner is down here hanging out. Let me go grab him and bring him up to the booth, as he's got to be pretty happy here. Sebastian, man, welcome to Victory Lane, a race that opened up for you perfectly, man. What a way to come get yourself a first career victory in VOR.
I've been wanting a win for so long. It's been so long I've raced in this car, and I've really wanted a road win, and that was my first iRacing IndyCar road win ever, and I'm at a loss for words.
Well, let's go back to those opening laps, because obviously the VR issue happens with Jesper, and then of course Julian clobbers him, and then obviously the unfortunate stuff with Sudik and Geisler, and it's like the door opened up, and you go in there and you're able to take advantage, and then obviously when a couple other things happened and it opened up that wide gap when it was all said and done, I mean, what was the first thought going through your mind at that point?
Don't wreck that car.
Don't screw it up.
Yeah, I mean, it was like that for the whole race. I had the hands and the legs shaking because I've never been in that position. I never
Right.
dominated a race, never. And
So,
just
so coming to the final lap, obviously you get up there, you get through the bus stop, and here's a lap car in front of you. I'm sitting there in my head, like I call it, like I'm like, I'm sitting there in my head, like, okay, he's either going to let this guy go on, or he's actually going to try to pass him. And I'm like, man, this could either go one way or the other.
Yeah, I mean, this is like it's second to last lap. I'm getting out of the boot, and oh no, I had to lap him. Oh no. I only overtook one car today, and that was can't remember.
Well, in the end,
yeah.
it's a 1-2.
In the end, it all panned out.
Right, absolutely, and a 1-2 finish. I just talked to Josh, and he talked about how excited he was to have that 1-2 finish, and now you obviously leading the pack of the TWR cars to get a 1-2. How that's got to be exciting for you as a team.
That's yeah, this is so great for our team, for Honor James, and shout outs to these guys. They are such a great racer, and they've helped me get into this guy who just doesn't know what he's doing. Back then, like 1 or 2 seasons ago, I didn't know what I was doing, like all instinct. But now they helped me getting better as a driver, getting more smoother, more smart, and they helped me getting me better on ovals. And now I'm on road. I finally get that win I wanted for so long.
Yep.
So yeah, this team is elite.
Well, you guys did your point. You guys did your part. I know, like I talked to Josh about, you guys got the setups now being out there for open racing and doing so many great things as a team.
SexyWatsonRacing.com, by the way.
There you go. There's a plug for you. But great job, man. I know, obviously, you guys as a team have worked well together, of course, with Sudik and James and all you guys. So congratulations on that. And somebody, I am going to work on getting somebody to teach you burnouts. And one. And
Yeah.
Don't worry, I have my own share when I don't win often either. But two, just want to mention, obviously, happy for you. And here's your chance. Send some shout-outs.
There's a lot of them, so grab popcorns, because shout-outs to James Watson, my team owner and best friend. He's going to be very happy when he comes home from work and see we've dominated. To all our sponsors, NRN, Martin Sports, MTWR Lawn Care, Straightarrow.inc, and all the guys at the setup shop just doing fantastic setup. And shout outs to my family, they've been behind me and all that, and they're so amazing people, and I don't think I would be very far without them, so yeah.
Well, great job tonight, man.
The teammates.
Oh, absolutely, man. Great job amongst you guys. Great teamwork. Congratulations on that first career win. You're now officially in the list of winners, and it's not a big list of winners in this series history. So congratulations, man. Go celebrate, and we'll talk next week in Nashville.
Yeah. So yeah.
That is Sebastian Kinder, the winner tonight from the Watkins Glen International, getting his first win for the Team Watson Racing crew. And they all did a great job, as everybody did a great job with the racing, of course, today. Of course, also, outside of me saying 2 words about 100 times right there in one sentence, we saw some good racing outside of a couple of little argy-bargies and stuff like that. So definitely proud of everybody, and it's an interesting race. I'm actually working as we speak to get the points set up for everyone, and I'll get that out to everybody here shortly for the series. So we'll get that up and get those updated for everybody so that they know what's going on. So, as I mentioned, next week it will be the Nashville Super Speedway, 1.33 mile short oval, if you will. We'll be there for that race next Saturday at 3 o'clock Eastern Time as we head out from there. And big shout out to 4D Racewear for sponsoring the race. Again, check out 4dracewear.com to get some shoes or gloves or whatever you prefer for your races in the future. And a big shout out to VOR and to Julian for all of his hard work with the series, making this as fun of a series as possible. It's definitely a great time here this afternoon as we head out. Always remember, this isn't just a game, it's iRacing. See ya!